Good evening and welcome to The Probe. Tonight, we had scheduled a crucial conversation on Ghana's worsening power situation with the Managing Director of the Electricity Company of Ghana, Engineer Julius Kwekpena, to join us live in studio for us to have a conversation. However, just a moment ago, we received a last-minute cancellation from our guest, unfortunately. This comes at a time when the concerns over electricity supply are growing louder across the country. In just the past 2 weeks, there have been multiple reports of outages, both planned and unplanned, from maintenance-related power cuts across Accra, Tema, and the central region, to faults such as damaged transformers and even a fire outbreak at the Akosombo substation that left parts of Ashanti and central regions in darkness. The strain on the system is becoming evident. More importantly, residents are speaking out. In parts of Accra, including Sotom, Santa Maria, and Ofanko, people say the power supply has become erratic and unpredictable, disrupting businesses, studies, and daily lives. Small businesses, of course, in particular, they say they are struggling to stay afloat amid the uncertainty. While government insists these outages are part of ongoing upgrades and not a return to quote-unquote Dumsor, many Ghanaians are asking a simple question. Is it not Dumsor? If it's not Dumsor, why does it feel like it? So tonight, even without our guest, the conversation does not stop, of course. We are opening up the platform to you, Ghanaians, our audience. So go to Join News on TV on Facebook and all other social media platforms and join the conversation via Zoom and share your practical experience with us. The question we are asking you tonight are, 1, are you experiencing frequent power cuts in your area, in your neighborhood? 2, how is it affecting your business, your work, or your studies? 3, do you believe Ghana is slipping back into another Dumsor era? Because this is not just a policy discussion, it's a lived reality for millions of Ghanaians, including you. We are live, of course, on DSTV channel 421, GoTV 125. We also live on Joy 99.7 FM and Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi. And around the world, we are on myjoyonline.com. And of course, Join News on YouTube and affiliate across the country. And my name is Carlos Caloni. Stay with us. The conversation is just about to start.
And there have been power outage for like more than 24 hours now. It's been more than 24 hours, continuous, no light, nothing. So I have to boil every meter I kept in the fridge. I have to boil everything.
Everything we have right now is it's electrical. We use electricity for everything. So even if there is a problem, I believe as a country that next year will be 70 years, communication is key. So if there's a problem, what do? You should communicate to us. Bring back the Dumsor timetable, right? So that we will know that, from this time to this time, we are having light. And the next time, the next few hours ahead of us, we won't get it. Maybe they are going to turn it on for other people to also get it like that. You get, now you notice nothing. You just switch it off, frame, next, and then you bring it point, switch it off, frame. Whilst we are using the electricity to run our businesses. So right now, what should we do? And when they bring the lights back to your prepaid will go off. Asan was. So meanwhile, you didn't even use the lights. Right now, we can't even rely on our electricity again because you don't know the next minute that they are going to take the lights. And when the weather changes, what's that? It's really, really disturbing. It's really, really disturbing. Right now, it's not even doom. So it is doom PA because the moment the light goes off, you have to go out. malaria, because mosquitoes are out there waiting for you to suck your blood. So right now, what should we do? Should we go to the hospital, or we should get inside with light? The only thing we've been using against Nigerians to, you want to take it from us?
The light was out from yesterday afternoon as at 1 p.m. in the afternoon, and they turned the light on this morning as at 7:35, which is very bad. Most of our staff are spoiled, and Charlie, this Dumsor is becoming too much, and I think the ECG should get us a timetable or something so that they can inform us when they are going to turn off the light so that we can prepare.
So those were some of the views we actually sampled from social media, TikTok, Facebook, and Ghanaians have actually been speaking about this experience that they are living. Tonight, some of them have joined us on Zoom, and we want to hear from them real time. And so thank you for joining us here on The Pro. But of course, you need to mute, keep your device muted if you're not speaking. We'll give everyone a chance to actually speak, but keep your language civil and go straight to the point. Let's start with Rashida. You are on Zoom. You're also a consumer. Share your experience with us when it comes to this power situation.
Please, for the past week now, we've been having power outages at night, especially when it is around 10 p.m., but it comes back early in the morning and all that. So I didn't see it to be a problem until Thursday night, the power was off. It didn't come until today, this afternoon. It came Sunday, from Thursday to Sunday. We've been calling ECG. They don't answer. When they answer, it's the same excuses. We are working on it. So there are a lot of things we are supposed to do, mostly online classes. We are not able to join our online classes. We are not able to iron our clothes to school. Sometimes because of our workload and all that, we meal prep, we prep for the week. All those things have gone bad. We have to throw them away. So it has been really bad. The concern is that they should communicate with us. What is happening? Tell us this is the situation. And we are good to understand that there is actually a problem. But when we don't know what is going on and the light is taking for more than 24 hours, then everybody is frustrated.
Right. Where's your area?
Labadi, Olympia.
Okay. And as we speak, you have light at least tonight.
Yes, please.
Thank you so much for joining this conversation. Let's go to political doctor. You've also joined the conversation. But those of you who we are yet to call to speak, kindly keep your devices muted and keep the language civil. Political doctor, you have the floor.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And it is important for us to note that the Dumsor has become a nationwide challenge that we are all facing. So we cannot, play politics with the Dumsor that we are all experiencing now.
Which
Currently,
area are you reaching us from?
Lights are off.
Which area are you reaching us from?
I'm reaching you from Cape Coast. When you come to Cape Coast here, lights are off. Abura, you go to other towns, the nearby towns, the University of Cape Coast too, lights are out. So students are unable to access essential services like ironing their clothes, meeting assignment deadlines, among other things. So it is so disheartening that the Dumsor or the power crisis we are being confronted with at this point in time. This shouldn't be, something that should we should be even discussing. Because the question is that why is it that only this Africa when we come to Ghana, we continue to experience, these whole challenges. But when they come that, oh, they are doing maintenance, technical fault. They come with different grammars describing the same situations. So I find it so worrying and disappointed in some of our leaders when it comes to, the issue of Doom. So they come with different grammars to describe the same situations that we are facing right now.
All right.
So we are calling on the, ECG and then other appropriate, authority to, put their toes on and work on this, electricity. Because currently, Cape Coast, there is no light in the whole town. So let let Ghanaians be aware of the current situation here. We should not do politics with this. We are all suffering, and we should be, straightforward with the government that this is the challenges we are facing. We should not, lose guard on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us here on The Probe. Let's go to Frederick Champon. But please keep your language civil and, of course, keep your device muted until we invite you to speak. So, Frederick, where are you reaching us from and what's the situation like where you are? Unmute.
Okay, thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, Frederick. Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm reaching you from Breman, Esikuma.
From where?
I'm speaking from Breman, Esikuma, which is in the central region of Ghana.
Okay.
And as for today, we've encountered a lot of blackouts. If I'm able to recall, and just some 30 minutes ago, we were experiencing it, and it just came. So as at now, there we have lights, but I don't know if we can sleep with it or not.
How long has this persisted in Bremen area? Is it only today?
Please come again.
I'm asking how long has this power outages persisted in your area? And I'm asking if you are just experiencing it today.
Oh, okay. I will say, okay, I just came home about a week ago from school. So since I came home there, it has been happening. It has been happening since Monday till now. It has been happening.
Okay.
Even in a single day, we can experience it about 4 or 5 times a day. And today, it's 9 times from morning till night.
All right. Thank you so much, Frederick. Let's go to Godfred Yeboah. Tell us where you are also reaching us from. And those of you who are not speaking yet, kindly keep your devices muted and keep your language civil. Godfred, where are you reaching us from and what's the power situation?
Well, I'm reaching out from La Paz, not specifically La Paz, but I think Israel, Lobnava, the enclave. I mean, it's been the same, the story has been the same, but it's quite disheartening, particularly for me as a student, because at this time I have to join a Zoom class. But considering the outreach of the Dumsor, the others are unable to join the class, and so it has affected it. And so that the class has to be called off. And considering the BEC candidates, particularly for me, I have 2 cousins who will be writing the BEC this year, and I just can't bear them. I just can't bear watching them missing their evening preps due to the Dumsor situation we have here.
Well, what do you want the authorities to do about this situation?
Well, assiduous efforts are needed so that this menace is somewhat curtailed, because considering the fact that examination is inevitable and quick approaching, then it must be resolved as soon as possible.
Grateful to you, Godfred. Let's go to Callistus. Callistus, where are you also joining us from and what the power situation where you are? Callistus, okay. if you can hear me.
I'm joining you from Tamale.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you have power in Tamale? I think maybe your situation is different from those calling us from Cape Coast and La Paz and its environs.
That's right. So the power situation in Tamale is quite stable. Intermittently, we have outages, but the outages don't last beyond sometimes a minute, sometimes 2 minutes, and then the power will be restored. I woke up this morning to learn of some power distribution challenges from Gridco as a result of, I think, a bent substation.
Right.
So I'm quite surprised that there is a discussion ongoing around this whole matter about Dumsor. I don't think we are facing any Dumsor, at least for now.
Right. So those of you in Tamale, you are not experiencing the outages at all. Is that the position?
I think so.
Okay. Right. Thank you so much. And so, of course, those in Tamale are a bit fortunate. Let's go to another person, Justice Owusu, to also share his story with us. Where are you reaching us from and what's the situation like where you are?
Please, I'm reaching you from Achumakwama Trade.
Okay. How is the situation like where you are?
Pardon?
What is the power situation like in your area as we speak?
Currently, it's not actually good right now.
It's not actually what?
It's not good as I'm speaking. We have been experiencing some
power outages. I think we've lost him there, maybe due to some internet connectivity. And of course, these are Ghanaians who...
Hello?
Yeah, are you still there?
Hello? Yes, please.
Yes, can I land on the point you were making earlier?
Please, we have been experiencing some power outages this afternoon from around 12 o'clock to this 6 evening.
Okay. And is this happening only today, or it's something that has been happening over the last weeks?
No, please. It's something that has been happening throughout the whole week.
And how is this affecting your life, as in planning your life?
They have been telling us they are doing a system upgrade, but you don't actually get it, what they are doing.
Right. I also have some people joining the conversation. Some are reaching us from Pokwasi area, and they've been saying the situation is so dire in Pokwasi area. And somebody is also reaching us from Tema Community 25, and she says that the situation in Tema Community 25 is so bad that we go sometimes days without power. And so those are some of the people also watching us and expressing their concerns with us. So we can go to another person on Zoom to actually speak to us. Anthony, if you're there, share with us where you are reaching us from and what the situation is like. Yeah, Anthony, we are with you.
Good evening. Yes, my name is Kwabena Anthony. I'm reaching you from Pandai.
Right.
Yes, in the northern region. Currently, we have light, but I must say for the past 1 month, we've had erratic power outages. And when it does come, you have low voltage. And sometimes even your electric fans are not working properly. You cannot even pump water using a borehole. So that's the situation we're going through.
From Pandai.
It's very difficult. Even though VRA assured us they were doing a system upgrade of in Yendi, the situation has not improved. it has even become worse.
Okay. Thank you so much. In a short while.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Thank you so much for joining us here on the probe. And then we'll go to our correspondent across the country to also share what they know from their respective regions. And of course, my colleague Ramat will also be joining us from Labadi here in Accra. But before we do that, let's bring in the research and policy analyst at the Institute of the Energy Security, Smith Prosper Boahene. Grateful for your time here on the probe. You have listened to Ghanaians with regards to the situation they are facing when it comes to power supply. Do you think the government is actually telling consumers the truth about the power situation the country is facing currently? Well, we seem not to have Smith Prosper. We'll take a short break. We'll return and continue with the conversation. Stay with us here on the probe. Welcome back here on the probe, and of course we also live on Joy 99.7 FM and Lab 99.5 FM in Kumasi and over 30 affiliates across the country. And we are discussing the power situation in the country. Earlier you heard from some consumers who joined live to share their experiences with us here. It's now time to go to our correspondent across the country to speak to them. And let me start from Accra, where my colleague Ramat is joining us from in Labadi. Ramat, what can you tell us about the power situation in Labadi this evening?
Carlos, the situation is a bit stable here today, unlike from Thursday where the situation was very severe and intense. Even as I'm speaking to you, where I'm currently standing, you could see that at the left side of my hand there is light, and while at the right side of my hand there is no light. This is Labadi Olympia. But earlier when I also went to Palm Wine to ascertain the situation there. And when I got there, the entire Palm Wine to Kwejo Sadi to Nectivity, they have power outage in the area. And I tried speaking to some of them, and they explained to me that the situation is very dire. I spoke to a couple of young ladies and young men, gentlemen who are actually having their own small businesses that they are doing. A young lady tells me that she is into yogurt business, and every now and then she has to take her yogurt from the fridge and then dispose it because of the situation. I've been also speaking to some students who says they've also removed some items from our fridge and then dispose it. So the situation is very dire here, and it's actually affecting them, like I said. Also, it started on Thursday. Earlier this morning, the lights came back, and around 12 p.m. in the afternoon, it was just going on and off. I visited some homes, and they tell me they had to switch off their home appliances just so they don't get spoiled. And then for now, like I'm saying, for some parts, it's a bit stable, but for other parts, they are still bleeding and they are still going through a lot. I mean, some of them are also suffering from heat rashes and all of that, because they say they have to go outside and go and sit and seek for fresh air. And then if they go out to, they are faced with mosquitoes and what have you. So that's the situation here at LA.
What do they expect the authorities to do about this situation? Have they been able to tell you anything, their expectations?
Yes. So when I spoke to some of them, I mean, it extends beyond La Tuteshi, but speaking to them, what they tell me is that they just want to hear some kind of communication from the Electricity Company of Ghana. Of course, we saw some releases from the ECG, was it yesterday, telling us about the situation, and they say they have heard about it. But the situation actually started on Thursday, of which they never heard from the Electricity Company of Ghana. Some of them complained that they call them several times and then they don't answer. So they just expect that the government brings a timetable kind of, or just communicate to them that at this time or today, we are going to have a power fluctuation or a power outage in your area, so that they have it in mind that when they are going out, they can just switch off their items and then ensure that they are safe before they move out. It's just communication, basically, they are looking for from the government.
Thank you so much, Ramat from Labadi, for those live update from that part of Accra. But it's a good time now to hear from Smith Prosper Boahene. He is a senior research and policy analyst at the Institute of Energy Security. But before we hear from him, let's take you to the Garden City to hear from my colleague, Emmanuel Bright Kweku, to paint a picture of the situation in Kumasi for us. Bright, what can you tell us about the situation, at least for the past 1 week? What do we know so far?
All right. Carlos, as we speak now, there's power. We are having power currently in where I am currently at Tonsu. That's where I am. In the afternoon, somewhere around 12 p.m., 2 p.m., we had the power go off. It was just now, somewhere around 6 p.m. that we had the power coming back in where I am currently. But as I speak now, places like Eija, Ejuso, and the other enclaves are without electricity as we speak now. They do not have lights as we speak now. And in fact, in the Ashanti region, it's been a bit of hectic for majority of the homes because even before the Akosombo situation, there were still some pockets of outages that we experienced in the areas like Eija, Maxima. And talk about Trede, as the gentleman who earlier came, the Mwambija North area, all of them, they had some issues with electricity, accessing electricity in their homes. So it became a bit of a challenge. In fact, most of them have complained about how their foods that they kept in the fridges are getting spoiled. You talk about the cold rooms and the impact on businesses like salons and barbering shops, and they rely or depend heavily on electricity. And so majority of them, they have really been impacted. Even Love FM, I can confirm that on Friday, we had our entire system down because even our plants that we had to rely on, there was a bit of a challenge. So the entire Friday from the afternoon, we didn't have electricity, and that impacted our operations as a radio station. So for this week, it has been quite a hectic moment for residents and businesses here in the Ashanti region, looking at the power situation that we have encountered. In fact, this morning, when the power incident happened, they gave us a timetable where you expect that some areas would have light between 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. and some others between 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. So I suppose that those who are currently without electricity at their homes now are those who are under the batch from 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. And so hopefully by 12 a.m. this night, they should expect their lights to come on. And in fact, I don't know if you have had this conversation or seen the post by the government spokesperson where he says leadership of the electricity company of Ghana here in the Ashanti region, there's been a major shakeup. So we are all eagerly waiting to know who are the managerial heads that have been taken off from the ECG office here in the Ashanti region. When you come here, we have 3 units at the Ashanti region, the Ashanti West, the Ashanti South, and also the power transmission area. So we are hoping that tomorrow, hopefully, the government will give us an update on which of these leaders have been taken off. Carlos.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel Bright Kweku is my colleague in Kumasi. Let's go to the Upper West region and speak to Rafik Salam. Rafik, what is the situation in your region?
The situation in the Upper West region is the same as what is being experienced in the rest of the country. I can report to you that power here is somehow stable. The only challenge that we have here in the Upper West region is during the peak hours, which the VRA permit somewhere after 8 p.m., after about 11 p.m. We do have this force of unplanned power outages. And so when usually it happens, within 1 hour, the power is back. But the difficulty also somehow is that we have this intermittent interruption of power sometimes, and then even residents have fears that it may even spoil their gadget or also their equipment. And then as we speak now, because of this unplanned power outages, also affecting water supply in the municipality of the Upper. So, you know, the the Ghana Water Company Limited told us that because they also rely on this power supply from the Biarritz to be able to pump water. And so, as we speak now, some areas in Wa, including my house, we are not even having water to our Biarritz. And so, really, it's really having a lot of impact on the water supply system. But I don't think that for Upper West region is the same as what is experienced in the other part of the country.
Fake salam for the update. It's a good time now to hear from our resource persons, and joining the conversation also is the Deputy Ranking on the Energy Committee of Parliament, Collins Adumako Mensah. Grateful for your time. We'll also go to speak to Prosper Smith. He is from the Institute of Energy Security. Let me begin with you, Mr. Adumako. You know, for the past 1 week, the power situation in many parts of the country, you know, has not been the best. And the government keeps telling us that this is an upgrade they are carrying out on the system. And just the day before yesterday, of course, we had the situation also in Akosombo where substation got burnt. From where you sit in Parliament as an energy committee, what do you make of all of these situations, I mean, with regards to the power supply in our country?
Clearly, the situation did not start just 2 days ago. What happened 2 days ago has just exacerbated the already precarious situation that we found ourselves. And listening to your correspondence from Kumasi and from the north, it's quite clear that for the past 1 month, Ghanaians have been experiencing some power crisis. My constituency is in the Ashanti region, and I frequent there very often. The situation in my constituency is also very, very, very dire. I was there last 2 weeks, and unfortunately, the lights were off consistently. When you come to Kumasi, even when the lights are on, you realize that the voltage or the current, as we refer to, very, very low. And so it's quite a difficult situation. And I'm told that the minister will be having a press conference tomorrow by 2 p.m. To give us some reasons. The reasons they've given us is that they are undergoing some maintenance works, which are quite routine. I'm not too sure if maintenance works are going on all over the country, because it seems everybody is complaining. Kumasi, Greater Accra, the Bono areas, everybody is complaining. And I'm sure that I hope that the minister comes out with some clear solutions to take care of this situation. The best thing for me, I suspect that government must come out with a clear timetable, just to indicate to everybody at what point your light will be going off. That will be more decent, rather than the very, very inconsistent explanation that we are getting from government.
Do you think the country is gradually going back to the old Dumsor days?
Well, it's not what I think. It's how the people feel. In my constituency, as I said, we feel that the lights are off. How you describe it will depend on how you feel. You may call it a light off. Somebody may call it Dumsor. But the reality on the ground is that, just as your correspondent indicated, on Friday, the whole of Lab FM could not come back on stream because the power was off. How do officers of Lab FM describe that situation? Do they call it Dumsor, or they just call it some light off? So it depends on how you feel. And the reality on the ground is that Ghanaians are really, really complaining about the consistent nature of the power outages. If government doesn't want to call it Dumsor, that is for them. But those of us who are feeling the heat, I think it's just appropriate for us to call it Dumsor.
From the Energy Committee point of view, you may know certain things that the consumer may not know. What could be the reason why the country is going through this phase?
I don't want to speculate. I mean, the government indicated to us that they are doing some routine maintenance, which is very, very routine. In fact, during the previous government, maintenance work kept going on all the time. Unfortunately for them, when we indicated during our time that we're going through some maintenance work and changing some transformers. And for that matter, the light must be turned off in order for some maintenance work to be done. They did not accept that explanation. They insisted that we give them a timetable. And if you recall, and I'm sure you're a very senior journalist, they kept on insisting that government must come out with some timetable because the lights were going off consistently. Today, they are giving a similar explanation. I'm not too sure if they want us to accept that same explanation that they gave us. Of course, the situation at Akosombo, a very natural occurrence. I'm not too sure if anybody anticipated that the fire at Akosombo was going to go off, and that meant that about 1,000 megawatts was going to be taken off our grid. Those are natural occurrences. I'm happy to hear that the engineers are working tirelessly on it to bring the Akosombo back on stream. If that happens, that would be very good news for us. But as I said, the situation did not just happen just 2 days ago. I mean, for the past month, we've been having this consistently. I think government must come clean and let us know exactly what the problem is. And so that once we know what the problem is, I'm sure all of us can help profess some solutions towards it. But now, the explanation being given that the lights are going off all over the country as a result of changing transformers, I'm sorry, but I'm not too sure those are strong reasons.
Well, talking about the Akosombo incident, the GridCo Chief Executive Officer, we're told this evening, has been suspended pending the outcome of investigation into that matter. A good move?
Well, the information I have is that clearly some things did not work out well. I'm sure for a company like GridCo, with operating very sensitive national assets like this, there should have been some fire detector, fire trigger machines to help identify a problem as quickly as possible. I think the length of time that it took for the fire to be brought under control brings out a lot of concerns. Clearly, something really is amiss in this whole situation. I'm not surprised the minister has ordered for an investigation into the matter. I am also hearing that a gentleman who has been asked to proceed to step aside was nearing his retirement. And apparently, from what I'm hearing, that is true, that some information, some discussion has gone on with him that he intends to retire very soon. So I'm not too sure if his being asked to step aside is as a result of this particular incident. I'm not too sure whether a stay will impede the investigation. I'm sure the minister will throw more light on it when he meets at 2 p.m. tomorrow. But clearly, the information I have is that there was some amount of negligence because obviously there should have been some fire triggers, water sprinklers, and everything to have given some alarm to the authorities that something was amiss. Unfortunately, the information I have is that did not happen, and that I'm sure will cause some heads to roll, and I'm sure that's what has necessitated he's being asked to step aside for some time.
And consumers across the country are actually calling for timetable from the ECG. Fair call based on what we are experiencing, or it's too early?
Please, can you repeat the question? I didn't hear that.
I'm saying that consumers across the country that we have spoken to are saying that the ECG needs to give them timetable because some of these outages come unannounced. And I'm asking you, from where you sit, is it a fair call from the consumers?
Absolutely. I mean, it's long overdue. It's long overdue. It's been 1 month of consistent power outages. I think it's just fair that you indicate to consumers that between this time and this time, your lights are going to go off because of an upgrade or because of a maintenance program that we are going to conduct. I think it's a fair demand. It's a fair demand. And I for me, will insist that the ministry engages ECG to publish a timetable so everybody knows exactly what is happening at at any point in time. I think it's a fair demand.
Right. Stay with us. Let me bring in Smith Prosper Abuahene. He is a senior research and policy analyst at the Institute of Energy Security. You have also listened to Ghanaian consumers of power, and they've raised a lot of issues from where you sit and what they have been telling us. Do you think government is actually coming clean on this matter from what you see as an energy expert?
Thank you, Carlos, and good evening. And yes, the power challenges we're facing now should be looked at from two angles or two perspectives. One is the first half has to do with the maintenance and then upgrade of transformers that the ECG has been undertaking for some time now, for which reason it accompanied inconveniences, unfortunately, was also there. And then the second is the force majeure pending investigation from the committee at the VRA, which totally gives us about 1,020 megawatts of power. And so that is already a huge blow to the sector. That is roughly about 25% of the total of Ghana's energy mix. And remember that our peak demand is around 4,290 thereabout. So if you have 25% of that going out, it becomes a challenge and unwanted challenge. So if you add that to the already upgrade and maintenance work that is going, which is obviously necessary anyway, it brings an unwanted frustration, which is what we are seeing now. But from a technical point of view, the upgrades were necessary because IES has obviously maintained over the period that our infrastructure, the lag in our infrastructure really needs to be addressed. And it was a welcome news that the ECG was embarking on that, and quite some financial commitment as well. So it is quite unfortunate that the fire outbreak at VRA in the control room also coincide with this. So obviously the inconveniences that we initially felt was actually compounded with, and that has been the nature of the situation. But then if you look at the gravity of it, the fact that it has transcended from one town to the other across the nation, it is because ECG and GRICO needed to take steps to be able to safeguard our grid, because cutting off a straight 750 megawatts of power instantly from the national grid. Obviously, you need an emergency system to be able to stabilize it. So that is why you saw some places go up intensely in the early parts of 2 days ago, and so that has been the outlook so far. So what we are seeing are subsequent events as to what is unfolding. What GRICO is trying to do is to be able to get a bypass to the system control center to be able to bring some stability into the system. And so if the situation prolongs, or if they're able to assess and then rectify the damages early, you see a gradual link up of the various substations, which obviously will translate to us seeing power stabilize again bit by bit. But if the situation progresses, if the situation prolongs, unfortunately, then we must brace ourselves for a few inconveniences, as it were, with regards to the consumer end. We are not, so we are initially, we didn't have, per the energy outlook for this year, next year, and the likes, we don't have a shortfall in terms of supply, available supply. But these are quite some unfortunate incidences in which you cannot discard the distress of consumers. Obviously, power, it plays a very critical sectors, a critical role in our various lives, day-to-day lives, businesses or industries and the likes. And so that has been the challenge. Thankfully, there's been some progress from Gridco, and so we are actually looking for a swift resolution to this challenge.
I think if I can come in here, so the problem is not a generation problem, it's not a distribution problem, is a reserve capacity matter. Where really, apart from what has happened in the Akosombo recently, where do we put the challenge actually?
Yeah, great. If you look at the outlook of our power sector coming into this year, for example, I mean, the figures were actually looking pretty good. We have our petroleum reserves, petrol reserve for our various thermal plants actually increased. We have government took some steps to clear some debts. You remember the World Bank partial risk guarantee. Remember some payment to IPPs. ECG were doing well in terms of the complying to the cash waterfall mechanism. Commercial revenue loss that we've complained about over the period, we're seeing some substantial improvement. But so that improvement will also translate into you maintaining your infrastructure. And it's quite important. The transformer plays a critical role in that. It is probably, hopefully, from the resources that ECG was also able to mobilize the 200 million Ghana cedis to be able to start with the upgrade. So, yes, those were some of the benefits of the ECG actually closing its commercial losses gap that we're seeing with the upgrade of some of their transformers. And it is quite an unwalk. It is just a bit of an unwelcome inconvenience in that when they are in your area or substation trying to upgrade your transformer, obviously your lights needs to be turned off for the safety of the personnel. So that was already there, and unfortunately, the accident at
Akosombo
obviously also compounded with already distress that some of us or customers were actually complaining of.
So what immediate steps can the government or the power distribution company, ECG, and Gridco take immediately to at least bring some respite to consumers who have gone days without power? What can they do under the situation as we speak?
Well, first is, I mean, we can also, one thing we must also understand is that we cannot rush these processes at the expense of safety. And so if there's a way that can also be rationalized a bit to ensure that we are able to finish before some of the deadlines that ECG may have communicated, that is something that they need to look at. If there's a way they can fast track the process without compromising the principle of safety, then obviously that is welcome. And also the ideas and the activities of trying to help bypass the system to be able to gain access to the turbines at Akosombo in terms of its functionality, then that must also be worked on. I wouldn't want to talk about the administrative aspects as to what the minister, the announcement from the minister, because the competency of the CEO will be assessed by the minister, and I am no judge of that on day-to-day basis with what goes on there. So that is entirely left for the minister. But what I will be able to speak on is what should be done, or has been done, or is also being done now, and looking at it in its entirety to see how the sector will recover in the next couple of days.
Thank you so much for joining us here on The Probe. Let me give the final word to Collins Adomako. Grateful you're still with us here on The Probe. Now, consumers are crying, and according to the energy expert we've spoken to resolve the situation is going to take some time. In the interim, what would you want the power distribution company, ECG, and government, energy ministry to do to bring some relief to, power consumers who are going days without power?
I think it's important that governments, and I'm happy there's going to be a press conference tomorrow, government must come clear and show more leadership by appealing to the Ghanaian people for some patience. But whilst they do so, I think it's important that they provide us with a timetable. clearly, as we speak, it's difficult time for government. I mean, if 100 megawatts of power is off your grid, obviously you're going to encounter some challenges. Once we know that there are going to be some disruptions, it's just important and fair that you indicate to the Ghanaian people at what point that your lights are going to go off so that the Ghanaian consumer can prepare for those eventualities. That for me is the way to go at this particular point in time. Trying very hard not to mention the word Dumsor and trying to evade that question or word, I don't think will solve the problem. The people are feeling the heat. Barbers are feeling it. Seamstresses are feeling it.
Right.
Those operating cold stores are feeling it. Individuals are feeling it. And so it's a challenge. And it's important that at this particular point in time, we acknowledge and accept that, yes, we are going through some challenges and that it's going to take us about a month or two to resolve. Whilst we do so, these are the timetable for everybody to schedule our event. That, for me, is the way to go.
Thank you so much, Collins Adomako. He is the Deputy Ranking on the Energy Committee of Parliament. And of course, we've been discussing the power situation in our country. You've heard from Ghanaians who have actually shared their experience with us when it comes to the power situation across the country. And the ranking member also there touching on key steps that government needs to take to address the situation. This has been The Probe. We've been live on Joy 99.7 FM in Lab, 99.5 FM in Kumasi. And you can log on to myjoyonline.com to read much more about the power situation in our country. My name is Carlos Caloni. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.